Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem. Jane, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of the amazing people around the world who voted for Israel yesterday for the Eurovision Song Contest. Israel made the cut and is now participating in the final on Saturday evening in Malmö, Sweden. For those of you who are saying, I don't even know what you're talking about, what's the Eurovision? Well, I was born and raised in Denmark, so I grew up watching this Eurovision Song Contest. Back then, it was a little bit more family friendly. We came together as a family. My mom was baking and we were having soda pops and watching this Eurovision Song Contest. The countries in Europe who wants to participate, they have their own competition and then they choose a winner, and that song goes on to compete in the big final for all the countries in Europe. Back then the rules were this: you had to sing in your language, your own language, your mother tongue. So, coming from Denmark, you had to sing Danish. Coming from Finland, you have to sing Finnish, and that was really charming. So it was very special at that time, and nobody had heard the song until on the actual evening, until the actual competition. Over the years, they changed the rules a lot. All the nations are allowed to sing in English. The songs are published way before, so it's not the same, and it's not so family friendly anymore. You see a lot of more skin and more like just some weird horror shows in some of the cases. I don't think I say too much when I say that, but once in a while there are some good songs, people who really can sing and do an excellent performance. Israel has always been part of this. Israel has won several times, and it was special this year. I don't always see it every year because it has been changed into sometimes something just weird. But because of the situation with the war in Gaza, and because of all the hate and the propaganda and the lies coming against Israel, and the big demonstrations against Israel in Malmö, Sweden, and in Sweden for this competition, screaming for Israel not to be a part of it, for Israel to be disqualified, it's just ridiculous and horrendous. So from Israel, it's a 20-year-old. Her name is Eden Golan. She won the competition in Israel, and so she's now representing the state of Israel, and she was singing last night. It's a beautiful song. Originally, Israel submitted a song called October Rain, which was talking about what this nation is going through and how we feel after the brutal assault and massacre on Israel carried out by Hamas, ISIS on October 7. But that song was rejected from the Eurovision committee because it's not a political competition, and they were like, this is too much political. So the song was getting another title and rewritten a couple of times, and now it's called Hurricane, the hurricane that we are going through, we are living through since October 7. So during the rehearsals, she was booed and someone was showing the PLO terrorist flag. But last night, she just knocked it out of the park. She did such a good job. This girl can sing, and she put on a good show in the midst of some of the other songs was just weird. So she did a really good job. And then people all over Europe could vote. And Israel got a tremendous amount of vote. And I want to say thank you for that. In your face to all the Israel haters in the street in Sweden. In your face to all the BDS movements and the hate and the lies and the propaganda coming against Israel. Why is all of this important? Maybe you're thinking that. Like I said, this competition is not as family friendly as it used to be, but given the fact that we see what is happening around the world and people have been screaming, about Israel not being allowed to compete. Of course, Israel is allowed to compete. This is the only democracy in the Middle East. Israel was assaulted. Israel is taking out Hamas, ISIS terrorists in Gaza. Of course, we are supposed to compete. And because this is an opportunity for the good people to stand up and do something. This is where you can say, you know what? We need to combat all of this hate against Israel, and from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, which means all of Israel, free of Jews, murder, eradication of the Jewish people. So this was the night where all the Israel-loving, truth-seeking, history-based people said, you know what? When I open my Bible, I'm reading about Israel, and we are going to vote for Israel. And you did. As a matter of fact, I saw last night that in Italy, they were not supposed to, but they did. In Italy, they announced that Israel was the nation that got the most vote in Italy. 39%? Was it more? Voted for Israel in Italy. Grazie Italia. Many people woke up, and I think a lot of Christians actually around the world voted for the land of the Bible yesterday. So now Israel is going to compete on Saturday for the big final in Malmö, Sweden. There's going to be even more bigger demonstrations and protests. The Israeli delegation is under massive protection, security protection. They are not allowed to move around freely like in other years, which is absolutely horrendous. People are standing, Israel hating, people are standing screaming outside the hotel of a young 20-year-old Israeli girl who is participating in a song competition. It's just outrageous. So I want to encourage all of you, when we reach tomorrow night, go on the webpage for the Eurovision Song Contest and vote for Israel. Right now, I don't know the order of the song, so I don't know what number she's going to be. I will share that on all my social media as soon as we know that. So follow my social media for more updates and vote for Israel. How marvelous would and could it be if Israel won that competition in the midst of all the craziness and the hate that is being shown in your streets, in your city, around the world right now? It's a song that is profound for us here in Israel. The hurricane that we are finding ourselves in after the brutal onslaught on Israel on October 7, the massacre, the mutilation, the torture, the burning babies, decapitation, the breast that was cut off, the iron rods that they were jamming in the vaginas of the young girl, the young Israeli women that was raped. It has been a hurricane. And now Israel is participating in the Eurovision Song Contest. So it matters. Like I said, some of the other songs are just weird. But I choose to back Israel in this song competition because I see the hate that is coming against this young lady who is singing, and the hate that is coming against Israel when Israel was the victim. And all of this is taking place right in the midst of the week that is gut-wrenching for us in the Holy Land. It started with Holocaust Memorial Day, where we commemorated 6 million Jews that was murdered in the Holocaust. And in those 24 hours, we had 6 soldiers who was killed by Hezbollah and Hamas terrorists firing rockets into Israel on that day. And on Monday, it's going to be Memorial Day for all the soldiers, all the people who have died in wars defending the Jewish homeland, and all the people who has been brutally murdered in terror attacks. That's the day we have, all of Monday, for then to go in to Israel's Independence Day, Israel's birthday, celebrating the rebirth of Israel in 48. The prophecies came alive. So this is the really, really turbulent week where we are first commemorating and remembering the horrors of the Holocaust, of the people being brutally murdered for being Jewish in Europe in gas chambers, people being brutally murdered in terror attacks. Up until these days, rockets are still flying in. We had red alert on our phones today. They continue to fire rockets from Rafah towards Keren Salom border crossing, where America and the rest of the world is pressuring Israel. You need to put in more aid, more trucks, more trucks. Israel is allowing hundreds and hundreds of trucks to go into the people who was out in the street cheering when Jews was brutally murdered on October 7th. The people in Gaza who is cheering every time a Jewish child is murdered in another terror attack. We are pressured, and we have let in thousands of trucks with food and supplies to these people. And yet Hamas continues to send rockets towards Keren Salom crossing, where aid is coming in. And the world is screaming about Israel not giving enough food and aid to the innocent civilians in Gaza. It's just absolutely outrageous. So for such a time as this, we stand with Israel. So Saturday night, Eurovision Song Contest in Sweden. Be sure to watch it on your, whatever country you are in, watch it on your national TV, and they will give you the information on how for you to vote from your country, or download the app for Eurovision, or go on their webpage and get all of the information how to vote and vote for Israel. And let the Holy Land get as many votes, possibly even win this competition towards all the hate that is coming against Israel at this time. And then, like I said, this is Saturday night. And then when the sun goes down on Sunday, the following day, we go into those 24 hours of celebrating, of mourning the people who have died defending Israel and the people who have been murdered in terror attacks. Wouldn't it be amazing if Israel could win the Eurovision Song Contest just 24 hours before we go into that Memorial Day, especially with all the hate that is coming towards Israel. Now you can hear I have sirens outside my window. Shabbat is just around the corner, so I'm going to head out and do a little bit of food shopping before it's Shabbat. Pray for Israel for such a time as this. Pray for the Israeli delegation at the Eurovision Song Contest, that they will be safe. And pray for all our men and women in uniform, protecting us 24/7, 365, especially the one who is still battling and fighting Hamas, ISIS inside the Gaza Strip, and the people on the northern border who is still being attacked every day by Hezbollah. Things are still very, very tense in the Holy Land. Shabbat Shalom. May God bless Israel and all of our friends around the world. Bye.